SABC's Kenneth Makatees. Kenneth, what came out of the press conference?
Well, I think it's just the essence of it. It was quite a long statement by first General Obasanjo, that's of course heading the observer team, and then thereafter his deputy that gave quite a detailed statement. But the essence of what General Obasanjo said was that they were generally satisfied with, especially up to the eve of the elections, and they went into great detail of what they've been observing and so on. They've also told us that there were two teams. There was sort of a longer team with a longer mandate, and there was the team that just came in to monitor the election that happened on Wednesday. And take into account, they were quite happy and satisfied with what has happened. But of course, they listed all the complaints that were raised also by the MDC and other observer groupings, like, for example, quite crucial, the voters' roll. And during the question time, he was then asked in more detail about the electoral the voters' roll, and also to what extent it impeded on the results of the election. And what the General Obasanjo said was, all in all, and I'm now quoting, all in all, we do not believe incidences will amount to results, not the will of the people. Meaning, yes, these results, these incidents have happened. Some people were excluded for couldn't vote or were disenfranchised. But at the end of the day, after we looked at everything, we do not think that the results would have been in any other way if that's taken into account. And they therefore believe that it's actually the result that's coming out is a true world and the reflection of how people have voted on Wednesday.
Now, the MDC has been plain about it, that they feel it was rigged, that the voters' roll was rigged, and the whole the whole thing. But what is the word from political parties? What do they think about the declaration?
Look, I think there is general agreement that the voters' roll wasn't up to standard. I think even the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission will acknowledge that if you ask them. I think there were cases of duplication. I think that some of the voters, people that expected to be on the voters' roll were not there. But it was acknowledged by the African Union Observer team. Yes, it has happened. Nobody's denying that there are problems with the voters' roll. But as I said, and during the detailed statement by the AU, and we must also remember this is just a preliminary statement that they've made, they went into quite a lot of detail on the incidences that were mentioned by the African Union, but still said that they don't think it would have had an impact on the way that people have voted. Obviously, they're not happy, and everybody would have wanted a perfect voters' roll. But the point that Obasanjo made was, nowhere in the world do you get a perfect election. Just on the question about what political parties are saying, yes, of course, I mean, the ZANU-PF is quite happy with the turnout so far. They don't believe that there's any problem, and they feel that the MDC is just crying foul. The MDC has got into great detail about the problems that they've got. They were supported in that by NGOs like Human Rights Watch, the Lawyers for Human Rights, other observer groups, and so on.
Kenneth, thank you very much for joining us with that information. That's SABC correspondent Kenneth Makatees live there from Zimbabwe.